Moving through the Midwest, got the hops in line. Rod J and dig deep, pouring knowledge in the ride from the brewery to the bar. We bring the heat, crafting perfect brews to our cities on the beat. Spilling all the news, we keep it fresh and raw. Liquid golden hands, raise your glass for the law. Popping taps, sharing wisdom, we're the kings of the tape. Very simply say, there's no time to waste.
Midwest vibes, we stay legit. For another round, let's never quit. Midwest vibes, we stay legit. For another round, let's never quit.
What's up, everybody? We are back on a Saturday night here. A little longer out. We had to extend out from the other one, I think. Oh, did we do it 2 weeks ago? Did we do it 3 weeks ago?
3 weeks.
Yeah. So we have extra time in there. So that might be extra news that we'll have for you here tonight. But great to be back here on this last day of February, which beginning of the year really shot through pretty quickly. I gotta say. Yeah. It's just like
pretty soon the Christmas beers will be out. Where's the Oktoberfest? Those will be out soon.
Pretty soon. Yeah, things are just moving through quickly. Of course, got to get to Oberon Day because that's when I know it's springtime, and that's coming here in a few weeks as well. So, but no, great to be back on here. Great to see you again, my friend, and got some great stuff to kind of talk about tonight and roll into. Before we get into anything you want to bring up that you're going to be having coming up on your show that you want to let people know about, and then.
No, like the episode I'm going to record tomorrow that'll be out probably Monday night, Tuesday. I'm going to do a little history on Ballast Point because that's such an interesting story from start to where they are now. So I'll dig a little deeper into that. But we can't get Ballast Point here. Technically, this Kings and Convicts was an Illinois company, but you can no longer get it here. So I can't have a sculpin to drink. But I'll talk about the history, about the brewery, the big sale, and then the little sale a couple years later.
Yeah. Yeah, Constellation got taken for a ride, I think, on their part, but then Kings and Convict came out with a pretty good deal. It seemed at the time, but then Ballast Point started disappearing everywhere. So I'm not sure if they got a good part of the deal or not as well. Did you have a favorite Ballast Point beer over the years?
They were all so good. Sculpin, just the original OG Sculpin was good, and then they had the grapefruit and the pineapple, but I loved their sours. Their Victory at Sea series was really good. I mean, I thought those were great. You know, they opened up a huge brewery tap room here right before COVID, and then they shut it down. So, I mean, they had a location here in Chicago that they even did some brewery one-offs that were just exclusive to Chicago. So that was really good. But, you know, once 2020 hit, that kind of threw everything for a loop.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think the one they had, I mean, Victory at Sea is the ultimate one for me there, but Sculpin was good. And they had another one that was like something with the manta ray, I believe. That was also and that was a double. Yeah, I really enjoyed that one back in the day. The only one I really didn't like as much because it was definitely, I thought overspiced was that habanero Sculpin. I thought they had
I agree 100%
on that one. Yeah. Like, you could let your foot off the gas pedal a little bit when you put this one together. Came in hot and heavy. Shout out to Noah in the house. What is up, my friend? Good to see you. Just saw you here Thursday as well. So always appreciating the support. And speaking of always support, we got JT in the house. JT. Belly up, lads. Cheers, my friend. And then welcome time over on your channel as well, popping in through here too. So great to have you as well. And if your first time here, you know, we get into some of the different beer news. We enjoy some of the different beers and kind of keep you guys up to speed on some stuff. So this one's a little bit more of a different type than what we did Thursday with me and Todd, where we just kind of cut it up a little bit. But if you got any input, any questions or any comments, make sure you get those out there as well. I'm going to crack open a beer here. You already cracked one open, I believe, Dave. And what did you crack open?
I did. So I know we both big fans of Firestone Walker, and I wanted to try their NA. So they have an NA version of their 805. So this is 805. And for an NA, it's pretty good. I like it. Good flavor on this. It's a blonde ale, but it's got good malt, good hop characteristics. So this is a winner. I grabbed a 6-pack of this. So I have one of these from time to time, and I'm a fan of it.
All right. So you're digging on that one then, and it's hitting nicely for you. And then I myself, I actually cracked open, talking about Firestone Walker. I'm telling you, people are going to think we're sponsored by them, but we're really not. We just the beer it seems coming in. But I'm going to actually crack open their Diesel Thunder here.
Nice. Yeah.
See this over here. Check out the artwork on the can here in a second. And this is one I did a review on the channel a while back. Maybe check out the artwork if the camera wants to work. It's kind of stalling out a little bit. Let's see here what is going on. I love technology.
Hi there, everyone. Looks like I'm taking over. What's going on here?
Oh, man. I'm trying to switch it over to this thing, and it's just not letting me do it. So I'll just show the can here in a second.
Man.
Let's see. Let's switch it to that. And take this off. Technology, man, it works when it wants to work. It's the start of AI, I'm sure, just kind of changing things up and taking over.
Dude, we're too old for technology. We just got to get some like Super 8 cameras and just do it that way.
This StreamYard, what are you doing to me? It's like it's screwing me up here. Let's see. Don't want that. I probably got too many cameras. It's probably going for a loop right now. All right, there we go. See if that pops up. No.
Well, you doing this from your OnlyFans room? You got too many cameras set up?
Getting all the different angles right now. It's acting a fool right now. Well, at least you can hear me right now while you were still talking here while I'm getting everything else.
Well, I'll talk more about this beer. I mean, because this is really good. Yeah, well, they should call it the Midwest and California beer show, because we do talk about Firestone Walker a lot, but of all the national breweries out there, this is definitely one of my favorites here. You know, I might do another Firestone coming up later, but I do have a Midwest one that I want to try. So we'll see what we grab open in the beer fridge in a little bit, but this one's really solid here. Don't electrocute yourself, Rod, reaching underneath the table to plug in the wires. You got to get like an A/B switch like we did when we were playing like Sega Genesis and stuff, when you hadn't wanted to watch TV and go back to playing Sega. You need like an A/B switch on that stuff.
Yeah. I actually looked at some of those things before about doing that, but if you got the USB, it won't connect as well. Let me see if it works now here, what I was trying to do. And if not, we'll just say screw it.
And just hold up the can.
Yeah, because it's doing something weird right now with the connections. Let me go back here. It worked fine Thursday night. I had it Thursday night doing what it was supposed to do, but the night is just being weird. All right, now you don't want to give me my other camera.
All right, so we're back. So welcome back to the Beer in Front show.
This it's acting stupid for some reason. There we go. Now I'm back right now.
No, you got nothing. There's no picture. I hear you. It's got the name on the thing, but there's no picture at all.
Really? Because on my screen, I see.
All right, now you're back.
Here. I don't know. It's weird. But anyway, Diesel Thunder. Stop messing with the other one. I don't know what's going on with the connection with StreamYard and stuff, but this is the one from Firestone Walker, the double IPA. Video is up on the channel if you want to check it out. 8% ABV, but a nice banger of a double from them as well. So we shall move on from that point. Technology and software IT is a professional for 15. It's a pain at times. So yeah, it's I didn't have any problems really tonight. I think because I had OBS one earlier, that was actually screwing with some stuff as well. Ryan in the house, cheers.
Hey.
Out on the front porch filming some content, but hanging in here between reviews. Well, we appreciate that. And
absolutely,
if you
Ryan.
Checked out Cincy Brewdaz. Make sure to check out Ryan and Matt on that channel as well. See, it is the double IPA, Noah, that I'm actually sipping on here. and put on channel 3 like the old day. Well, I was about to go get the 10 full to put on the antenna, so just to try to kind of do that. If you remember, you and IPAs don't get along, but that's fine. Everybody doesn't have to like every style, right? So, I mean, Dave's wearing a Zima hat.
Absolutely.
That's on Dave. So he's trying to get Zima. If anybody knows anybody in Japan and get Dave a Zima, please do.
I got my guy. He's working on it.
But so take a look. We want to jump into some of the beer news type stuff. So, and for Ryan, you being here, you already know next week's going to be a big weekend here in Cincinnati, as it always is, because we will have actually Bachfest starting out. And let me get that pulled up here.
That's not only Bachfest, that's your birthday weekend next weekend, Rod. You got a lot of stuff happening next weekend.
Yeah, it kicks over into that Monday, which will be old man's birthday, right? So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Birthdays are birthdays to me at this point, I guess. But it's so funny. We went out to lunch earlier at Texas Roadhouse, and a couple people there were having birthdays. And, they're one of the places. Oops, that's the wrong thing I wanted to share here yet. Share that later. We had people singing the songs there for the people for their birthday. I've never been a huge fan of that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it's like I'm not a fan of people telling the staff, "Hey, it's your birthday." And then they come over and start singing everything. It just I'm kind of low key in that regard.
Yeah.
But yeah, good for them for sure. So Rise at Bachfest will be somewhere on Saturday. So starting next week, we actually have it. We'll start it on Friday, the 6th through the 8th on Sunday, and then my birthday will be that Monday. But this is the 34th annual Bachfest, which now is the Cervati Bachfest, which Cervati's a local bakery here. They bought the sponsorship rights, so now it's under them. Usually a great time to get out and enjoy some great Bachs. And then they also have a parade like on Friday where they bring the goats out. It's always interesting to see people out there walking with the goats, which the goats are the mascot of Bachfest. A lot of stuff happening. A lot of things take place. Arnold's Bar and Grill here in Cincinnati is one of the, I guess, oldest bar and grills, but they got a big tie into it because they've always been a supporter of that. They have a lot of great craft beer selections. So a lot of people will hit that on Friday. You also got Moorline Lager House. They'll be doing their thing. We got Northern Road Distillery and Brewing. They'll be doing their thing. Rheingeist, everybody knows Rheingeist, right? So they'll have a thing there. Rosedale. So it'll be a lot of different things taking place. You can do the tour. They got things set up where you can get like ticket packages. If you like, the cool thing about Bachfest versus some of the other festivals, you just pay as you go for whatever you want to drink, right? You don't have to worry about buying a ticket and
that's cool.
Moving all around and stuff. So you go to different places and kind of do it that way. But if you want to go on some of the options, the Bachfest Brewery Tour, you can get a package for that. You can do the pub crawl tour as a package for that. Or you can just go around and just hit things as you go. The 0.05K fun run, not 5K, but 0.05. So, because, we're drinking beer. We're not going to go 5K. So, but yeah, it's a fun blast. And I don't know in Chicago if they do anything around Bach, but here, this is huge. And it goes to the German heritage part of Cincinnati as well. It's a deep German heritage that takes place. So it makes sense to have that Bachfest. That's why we have the big Oktoberfest in September because of the German heritage with a lot of great sponsors and beer and breweries that are involved. When you got Taps on here, which Taps is now just in name because the brewery itself was sold to Cincinnati Beverage, I believe, but they're keeping the name alive by still making their beers and putting the recipes out. Little Kings, which is out of Moorline here, they brought them back. So it's a good time to get out and do some stuff. And then supposedly, we'll see if the weather people are correct on this, but next weekend, we're supposed to be in the 70s. Which makes it even out much better. But, once you trust the weather person, that's when things go wrong. So that's something for those of you in the Cincinnati area to look forward to upcoming for next week. Or if you're near Cincinnati, you want to come on down, then definitely do so because Bachfest is pretty cool. Kettle in the house. Cheers, Kettle. Good to see you, my friend. You got Big Daddy in the house. Cheers. Did you have Modelo Chelada the other night, I believe? Or no, I know. Well, did you? I think you mentioned Modelo the other night. Maybe I'm wrong. And let's see here. So when I bought the Sixer of Schlitz on Thursday, the guy at Cardinal told me they were stopping production. I can't find any confirmation on that.
Well, they're made by Pabst now. And, Pabst had a lot of layoffs and restructuring. So that could be true. It's very possible. I haven't been to Binny's yet. I might probably stop tomorrow morning and see, because that's like the only place that I've been able to find it, and usually get a 12-pack of bottles for, $8.99 or whatever. But it's possible.
Now, I thought you were trying to find Schlitz before, but you were having an issue.
It was Stroh's.
Stroh's. Okay.
Yeah, I did manage to find this place that had it. But, Schlitz, it was always like hit or miss. And even because if I don't wear my Zima hat, I usually have a Schlitz hat on. And one time I was in there and the distributor was like, we don't have any Schlitz on the cart today. We'll try next month.
Oh, well. I haven't had a Schlitz in a good amount of time. So
it's a solid macro. They say they went back to like the original recipe from the 50s and 60s, but that's not true because one of the hops they use is Cascade, and Cascade hops weren't around then. So the recipe is a little bit different, but it's a lot better than it was in like the 80s when they went cheap and it tasted horrible. So it's definitely an improvement, solid macro, but, might not be able to get it anymore.
Didn't they change the formula on Stroh's though as well, if I remember correctly?
So, yeah, and they have one that's only, I guess, available in Detroit. Like the can now is blue, but like the Detroit one is kind of like a maroonish color, and it's like a Detroit only. And that one's supposed to be really good, but I've never seen that one in my travels.
Okay. It's been a while. I mean, for me, Stroh's was like back in the college years in the 90s.
Yeah.
Since I've had one last.
Fire brewed, yeah.
Yeah. Back when Alex was walking the yard, Alex from Stroh's. Oh, gee, thanks. No, thanks. No, I see you said that in your 50 Cent voice. That's what played in my head, by the way. Regular Michelob.
No, can't get that.
Ultra and Golden. Yeah, do they still make it in some parts of the country, though, with regular Michelob?
I don't know. Because, remember for a while, like 20 years ago, AB was pushing Michelob as like their craft. And they came out with, they had like a Michelob Porter. They had all sorts of different variants of Michelob. And it was still like in the cool bottle. And, that went by the wayside. But even remember, what was it? Michelob Golden. That was pretty big for a while, too. And, I haven't seen anything outside of the Ultra in years.
Yeah, it's funny. One of the things I look at from time to time and I try to get out to when I can is some of the estate sales. And then there's people that have the old Mick Golden signs that I'll see occasionally, and I'll pop up on some of those or some of the old bars that still have them out there. I'm like, I get rid of those. It'd be kind of cool just to have for nostalgia on the back wall, so to speak. Although, as you can see, the back wall is kind of out of space right now for the most part. It's tough to squeeze some stuff in, but so I have to build out the garage or something. Because my wife's not gonna let me use any other rooms. So you put that shit in the basement. We're gonna keep doing that. Yeah.
You don't need those windows. Just drywall up those windows. There you go. You got room.
Little Kings are solid. Haven't drank one since 2020 though, but drank a lot of them. Also, the old box. They did have a box for Michelob with the Amber box. Little Kings was going for a bit. Moreline brought them back a few years ago. It might have been before 2020 when they actually did come back out, but I remember when they were off the market for a bit, and it was here in Cincinnati, Christian Moreline, that got the line going again. But lots of fun memories from drinking some of the Little Kings. And then now you had a thing on your bulletin part, and then Big Daddy being there in Chicago as well, on some Illinois beer closers. So what do you got?
Well, it's not cool. Casa Humilde, they just announced a couple days ago that I think tomorrow's their last day. So, if you're around, you might want to head over. But that's the 5th brewery just this year in the Chicagoland area, we had Weiner that closed, Alarmist, Short Fuse, and then Illuminated Brewworks. But I think they're staying open for a couple more months, but they announced their closing. But yeah, I mean, we're up to 5, so it's definitely not a good time. I mean, one of the places said, I think it was Short Fuse that said, you know, their rent increased. They had a 10-year lease, and that lease was up, and you know, the landlord wanted more money. They couldn't swing it. There's a lot of, you know, tariffs are hurting breweries, cost uncertainty. You don't know what you're paying for malt from batch to batch. Tariffs are hurting, you know, everyone's pocketbook, where they're not going out to spend as much as they used to. People's drinking habits have changed since 2020. So there's a lot of factors, but it's really not cool first 2 months to see 5 places. And you know, some of these breweries have some hardware. They have some metals. So it's not just some place making mediocre beer. You got some solid places here.
Right. So I was looking at the comments here as well. No, it's talking about the Little Kings as well. And they had JT there in Chicago as well. Yeah, they were on Cincy, but Moreline took over their contract, and I forgot what year it was. And yeah, a lot of people have fondness with them. And yeah, even at the Ohio Beer Awards, they held at Mantry, they came up there as well. So, yeah. Been watching old NFL games from the 70s and 80s with commercials. Michelob, Budweiser Light. Tonight is kind of special. It'd be low and brow. Yeah, that's I mean,
back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tonight is kind of special.
We talking about that Thursday night. You don't get the jingles and stuff anymore as you used to. But I remember as a growing up as a kid, like in the late 70s, either the low and brow commercial, either Michelob commercial. It seemed like those were 2 beers you wanted. Like if you were having a good steak, those like the steak beers, you know, have a low and brow with it or have a Michelob with it. For whatever reason, that was kind of positioned out there. But yeah.
Well, like here, because Old Style was king in Chicago, Chicago was never a big AB town. So Old Style was king, and the Heilemann Brewing Company had like their bougie version of Old Style was called Special Export. So that was like our steak beer here, or you're having fancy company over, you buy a 6-pack of the Special Export.
There you go. Yeah, back when Michelob and Lowenbrau were in their high run, I wasn't of legal age, so to speak, but occasionally, you know, you're with the uncle or whatever, you get a sip or something. Like, why is it always like the uncles that are always the one like giving you to be like Pops? You know, Pops might try to sneak you something like that. Mom's not gonna do it, but the uncles are always like, "Oh, let's get you sauced up a little bit." Like, the uncles are always the crazy one. Like, they can just leave in order not taking the kid with them, I guess. Yeah. So it's always just funny, like the uncles you got to watch out for.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that I won at the awards. Yeah, with the Little Kings. Liquid Love Choose. Oh no, I did not really know that.
I didn't hear that. Oh shit.
I haven't talked to Mal in a while though. Yeah. Wow, that is something there too. Well, we do have a good news story towards the end of the show about a brewery in Chicago.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, and which will be huge, and I think a lot of people will be pumped up about that if you're in the Chicago area. So stay tuned on that one there. But
I just had to write down Liquid Love on my list. Shit.
Yeah, sad to hear. Liz laments the passing of Old Style Dark.
Yeah.
You know, the dark ones. When I was in high school, Beck's was the one that we kind of sneaked. That was like, if you got everybody get your hand on Beck's, that was a great thing. But then the Beck's Dark was even that much better. So I always have, when I think of dark, I always think of Beck's Dark in my mind.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, remember, we're talking about Michelob. Remember Michelob Dark? And didn't they have commercials like, don't be afraid of the dark, and the light would go off? So I know like Michelob Dark was pretty big for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it was just tough for most of your people that just wanted just Michelob to catch on to it as much. So I've tried it, but I love Schwarzbier. Yeah. I mean, you can't knock a good Schwarzbier, right? Yeah. But Old Style was kind of like that macro feel. I never had the Old Style Dark, so I can't compare it to anything. But sure, you know, Liz enjoyed it. Liz knows her beers too, so I'm sure it has some definitely good appeal to it. Let me see here. And then it's so funny because the piece that you had here talking about pickle beer because I had my first pickle beer earlier today, which I'll mention after we talk about this here. But Pabst doing a pickle beer, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Pabst and Grillo's Pickles collaborate on Pabst Blue Ribbon Pickle Beer. So what's your thoughts on this one here?
I mean, I'll check it out. I mean, I don't know. Like, you can't. Everything here with Pabst is always in the multi-pack, so I don't know if I could commit to a 30-pack of these bad boys, but if I say a single can, I'll probably try it.
Yeah, well, they're saying it'll be available in a 12-ounce can, so hopefully maybe some of the stores where you make your own 6-pack, you can just get one out of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I can't commit to 30 of those.
4.7% ABV. Never heard of Grillo's, so I'm not as familiar with them. They're out in Massachusetts and Indiana. Kind of weird, 2 different spots. They crossed all the other states, but maybe check with Todd and see if he knows about Grillo there. Stay tuned for the release. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And this is all just stuff history about Pabst there. But, yeah, I went to Urban Artifact earlier today, and I'll have a review coming up for my trip there for those of you watching the channel. And I had my first pickle beer as part of a flight there. And I have to say, I was actually pretty amazed. It was actually really tasty. Had a nice feel of the cucumber, had a nice little briny salt background as well to it that I may have slept on a little bit. Everybody here seemed to really love that pickle beer, and I finally went ahead and gave it a shot. It's just being part of a flight, and I got to say, it kind of won me over a little bit. So I had that with a pineapple coconut double IPA, which is fantastic. If you're in Cincinnati like Ryan, get over to Urban Artifact and get some of that because that's really some good stuff. And then I had their Fig Belgian Ale, which was also pretty solid. And forgot what the other one I actually had for them. I had a banana brown ale, which was also tasty, but it didn't really give me as much of the nuttiness I expected from me being a brown ale with a banana flavor, and it was awesome. So it was a nice little flight that I had there today. So Urban Artifact is always nice to check out, especially if you're a sour or wild ales fan, because I mean, they just don't do it just here in Cincinnati. Nationally, they're known for just what they're putting out. So, yeah, if you happen to get a chance to see their stuff, I would definitely say give them a go, especially if you're a sour fan. Let's see here. I was drinking yesterday with the head brewer of Old Urban. Nice, Trevor, and he told me about Liquid Love closing. He's buying some tanks from them. Oh, wow. Yeah. I have to reach out to them. Yeah. Always sad when you hear about breweries closing, of course, especially more sad when you know people that are actually there as part of that. And hopefully Chew gets it up. Yeah, I haven't heard too much about the brewery where Mal's at as well. I know they went through all the whole shift of the name change, and they were kind of got some stuff. And I get things that pop up on my thing with them doing different events, but hopefully they're actually going better as well. Fat Tire, yeah. Well, so here's the thing, Fat Tire, Noah. The Fat Tire you know now isn't the Fat Tire many of us know from back in the day, because they totally changed the recipe on it.
But they're bringing it back this year, yes. Yeah,
however, they are looking to apparently bring it back, and I feel like they realized they made the new Coke mistake. And they're going to go back and bring back the old one. So we'll see what – I don't know if they're going to keep both styles out there and make this like the classic, or keep the other one out there or not, or just replace it totally. But looks like they are bringing back the old Fat Tire.
They're making enough money on Voodoo Ranger. They could keep both out there.
Voodoo Ranger is definitely keeping lights on for him.
Yeah.
I
got to tell you, I got a Rod J deal the other day.
Oh, nice. Rod J deal in the house. We got a Rod J deal. We got to give you the Rod J deal alert. Go on, my friend.
So I'm at the Jewel, or as we say in Chicago, the Jewels, and I was actually annoyed. I was looking for Guinness because I have a project I'm working on later, so I wanted to grab some Guinness. Now, it's middle of February. We're not talking St. Patrick's Day weekend. It's the middle of February. No Guinness. I'm like, how does a grocery store not have Guinness? But so I'm walking through, and they have every now and then they have like cans taped up, and they're on clearance. And Revolution Brewing's Cold Time Lager, it's like their version of a macro lager. Solid beer. I looked at the date on the can. It was canned last month, January. 4 cans wrapped in duct tape, $2 in the cart.
$2 for the 4 cans?
Yeah.
Well, shoot,
In
that
the
is
cart.
that
Well,
that
it
is a
said
Rod
like
J deal.
the can was dented. Like, these cans are perfect.
The can what is it like? Canned corn or something like that? Like,
yeah. I mean, and they have other stuff in there. Like, they'll have like some macro stuff, but this was the only one that was all cold time. I'm like, 50 cents a can? Pfft, absolutely, son. I'll buy that.
If the can is dead, it gets me a deal. Oops, I just drop one on the ground. Oh, this is dented. Do I get a deal on this one too? Yeah.
50 cents this can right here.
Well, the segue is perfect because that was the next thing coming up here. Was with the cold time and Revolution expanding with the new amber and extra lager variants. So now that you have had this one, what do you think of it? You think you like the expansion into this? Is it pretty solid? I mean, do you have which one of these do you have? Is it?
I have just the first one that came out, so it's just a regular lager. This is going to be coming out soon. The amber, I mean, that reminds me of like when craft beer was starting and coming out. Everybody had an amber, so there's a brewery here. I think it's Pipeworks that has a retro amber, so this should probably be along the lines of that. But I'm looking forward to that. And actually, I didn't pull that tab up. What's the second? What's the green one? Because I don't have that tab in front of me.
The green one's the Cold Time Extra.
Okay,
so that's
nice.
The export style lager. So the one that you have is the 4.8 ABV sessionable. The extra is the 5.8 ABV.
That'll be like that special export. That'll be the bougie version. When you're having, you're having some classy relatives over, you bust that one out.
Yeah. I guess if you get a debt, that might be $3 for the before. Yeah. But it says slightly richer malt backbone and a firmer hop presence. So something to look at for there as well. That's kind of, I mean, a lot of the breweries are going into the lager realm, although at Revolution, I always think of them as being with the strong stouts or some of the IPA styles. So it's kind of interesting to kind of see that. It's kind of almost like you're getting used to there, but.
Their lager program's solid as well. I mean, I remember, God, when they opened 16 years ago now, like they put out a really good mild ale that was like killer. You go have one of those at lunch, a nice like 3%, like English style mild ale. They had like, I think it was called Working Woman, and they had a Working Man. They were both solid beers. So no, they know what they're doing in, every style. I wouldn't classify them as one type of brewery over another.
Right. And then to Noah's point, it was about 10 years ago. It's changed since you've had it then, Noah.
Yeah.
So, they went from Fat Tire, we're talking amber, being an amber ale. It went to like golden ale, I think, on the new recipe. Yeah. And they shifted everything. And then obviously people were used to the old one. It kind of fell off a little bit. I think they're going back to the other one now because that's what people really want. So, yeah.
Yeah. And, in fairness to New Belgium, they tried something. Nobody was buying the old stuff. I mean, sales were declining year after year after year. So, I mean, I respect them for trying. I don't appreciate the effort because I thought it could have been better, but at least you tried.
Yeah, they tried to do something. I mean, I would have liked them, had them try and maybe change the name of it a little bit. So it would have been like the same thing. But, Sam Adams, they didn't totally change theirs. They just kind of made a little bit of a switch, but kept it the same style, where Fat Tire totally threw it out the window, came back with a whole different recipe. So that kind of threw people off. I feel like the old Sam Adams versus the new, but the new isn't terrible. It's just a preference, I guess you could say. And here we are sitting close to baseball season, which you saw this one here, which I did see this one, but you already had it noted on here, which will be interesting to see because Braxton always does some really good stuff. But this year, Braxton is going to be the official craft beer partner of the Cincinnati Reds. So
sweet.
Shout out to them. And I guess they're making this ballpark beer. I would say now when you go to the Reds games, they do have Braxton in the stadium where you can try different things, I believe, but it's not like a full assortment because it's a ball stadium, so you're kind of limited. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how they do with this one here as being the basically the beer partner. I say a lot of people here, I think, kind of look at or have been looking at maybe Mad Tree. Mad Tree is a beer called Round in Third that one of the old announcers used to say back in the day when somebody was headed into home. So they've kind of had that as the unofficial, but now we have the official with Braxton. So might be kind of interesting to see how they end up doing with that beer there. But yeah, become the first official craft beer partner in Red's history, said Jake Krause, which I've met Jake years ago over there, CEO of Braxton. Good for them. I mean, Braxton's doing so many different things. You know, the 4 locations they have here that are set up in different spots. You know, talking about the pullback between breweries, and Braxton has been able to kind of steadily keep things going a little bit. They did close the OTR location, which I think the OTR location, which is a spot here in Cincinnati where you have like a lot of now, it's almost like a lot of niche type shops, a little bit of bougie type restaurant type thing, a little bit how they kind of made the area. But where the brewery sat, it was where another brewery sat previously that also failed. I think it's just location that really hurt them along those lines. But the other Braxton spots seem to be doing really well. So kudos to them. You can check them out here on the Kentucky side where they were founded, but also on the Cincinnati side, obviously, and now at the ballpark.
I saw another thing about the Reds. I didn't include it, but did you read that Maker's Mark, they're doing like an official bourbon for the Reds? So it has the red wax thing, but it's got like a commemorative Cincinnati Reds label as well.
Oh, no, I didn't see that there. So that'll be interesting to keep an eye on too then. Always like some Makers.
Yeah.
Top of your head, name of beers. Well, for me, it's never hard. It's always going to be Leinenkugel Summer Shandy. That's like the worst beer, I think. That's the only beer I've had like drain pour at a bar before just so I can get the glass. So no beer's come close to it yet.
I just had Michelob Ultra. That sucked. Michelob Ultra was brutal.
That was kind of funny because that was the first time you've had Mick Ultra, which was surprising. I just figured you'd had it before at some point.
No, never had it. Never had a reason to have it. And then, you know, I'm going through the grocery stores and I'll look to see what they have in the stovepipes. Like, oh, maybe something's interesting and I could try it without having to buy a 6 or a 12 pack of it. So I'm like, all right, I'll spend $3 on one and try it. I'm like, this is not good. I mean, if you need something low calories and low carbs for whatever, drink water.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, if people have really a good reason for Mick Ultra, I mean, try not to put weight on, I guess, whatever. Like a lot of runners will drink Mick Ultra after they run, but I'm like, I have to run more before I would drink that, I think, at that point. I mean, it's got to be, if it's like I'm at a golf outing and that's just the free beer of choice, I might have 1 or 2 of it, but at a point, I was like, okay, I got to get something else.
Yeah.
Let me see. So you think Mick Ultra is that bad? Yeah. For Dave, it is. Dave is like, that's the one. You asked the question and Dave gave the answer. And then this one's going to actually be kind of a double up for this brewery. So Lakefront that we have up here, we have the Spelling Bee story. So with this one, they're doing an event to help support Milwaukee public schools that you came across.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. Lakefront actually was there once a few years ago. Really cool spot. They're doing something Monday, your birthday, the 9th, and my mom's birthday. So I'm always going to remember your birthday, Rod. But yeah, there's a chance at like a spelling bee trivia where you could win gift cards. And then they're also going to raise fund and school supplies for Milwaukee public schools. So I guess there's a program called Donors Choose, and then you can pick, I guess, what school or whatever, you know, that you're going to choose to fund. So I thought, you know, I came across that. That's a really cool way to get people out. We've talked about this, you know, many times on the show. Breweries need to do different things to get people in the door. And I thought this was a really cool event. It helps the brewery. It helps the public schools. So, you know, hopefully they raise a ton of money. They get a ton of people coming in. But I thought like this event here was just a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, no, that's always good to see. And that's what craft beer is a lot of times. It's being part of that community, right? So craft beer has always been good at being part of community involvement. And this is something to definitely keep in mind if you're up in that Wisconsin area, which they have so many good breweries through Wisconsin. They're always doing some stuff there. So it's just another one that they're putting out there, another feather in their cap of breweries that actually are doing stuff in their communities. That's the cool thing. That's why some people, when they sometimes ask about local versus national, is that because local, you see the stuff that's being done in the community, and it gives you a chance to be a part of it. And of course, some national, obviously, you have people that work at the big macro plants, all that kind of stuff. So if they're in your area, that's kind of helping your economy there as well too. But it's just, there's something of a different feel when you're doing with the craft brewery that takes place. Yeah. And then we have with Lakefront, the other part of it too, which is something I came across earlier today about how they were actually saying they missed out of at least $400,000 in revenue due to tariffs, right? So we did the special last year talking about tariffs with the great assortment of folks that we had on for that broadcast. And here's a brewery that's kind of looking at their books and realize they about $400,000 less, which the people that know how craft breweries are and how tight the line is, that's a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
That could have had a good impact with them there. So kind of interesting, because we just had the Supreme Court decision saying that Trump overstepped the bounds on the whole tariff type thing. But like here, the owner's like, I don't think we're going to get it back. But it's like, it's just, we calculated and we figured that's how much we kind of lost out. Where they don't have stuff in Canada because they don't have any more sales because across the border with everything that was taking place, they pulled stuff off the shelves, which I can't blame them for doing that.
No, absolutely not.
So a lot of the American companies that were hurt, you're right. Canada is your backyard up there, so you get a lot of business across the border. So just
in addition to
that's has some impact, and that might, and like you mentioned in the closings earlier, we don't know how much it may have played into it, but that can have an impact. No, you're good.
Yeah, your audio got real choppy for a second, but no, in addition, you're paying more for malt because a lot of the malt, especially the base malt for most breweries, comes from Canada, and the tariffs fluctuate day to day. You can't, as a business owner, you need to know what your expenses are going to be. If this is going to change week to week, day to day, kind of hard to run a business that way. So I'm sure they lost more than $400K, and that's employees right there. I mean, this thing for them, that's probably, 5-6 employees that they could have had.
Yeah, that could be employees. That could be employees, and that can be, just the money being invested back into the brewery. That's not happening now as well. So that money loss is something that definitely takes a huge effect on them. So, but they see that there, but they're also doing the spelling piece, so they're still raising money. They're still trying to push forward as best they can, and it's kind of interesting. So keep an eye and see how some of these other breweries do with the stuff that takes place.
Yeah, I thought the other countries are paying for the tariffs. I must have read the wrong thing.
That's how it's supposed to work, right?
Yeah.
Coors is way worse. Yeah. I mean, I have no problem with Coors. I mean, it's always preference. It's always preference. So, yeah. When stuff isn't made in America, definitely it's hard. Well, the thing is, we have some of the stuff that's made from overseas. So it's kind of like, it wasn't hard. It didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out it was going to come back and bite us at some point, right? So anything you pick up is like made in China, made in Indonesia, made in Mexico, made in Nicaragua, all these other different spots and not made in America. So, yeah. Which is why you have like some of the farmers that are kind of having to shut stuff down too, because they can't get the labor workers in, right? So now we got to import from other countries again. So, yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And fortunately, we have to feel the repercussion of it, but not to get into all the heavy political stuff, but this is where we're at right now. You can't avoid it. So, yeah. Firestone Walker, as we drink Firestone Walker, talk about Firestone Walker, we now have the Welcome in Minnesota, where they're actually expanding to. We're sending 805 that you mentioned as well. So
yeah.
And the first
805's
Firestone Walker beer was the 805 that I ever had from them back in the day.
That's just a solid, solid beer. Excuse me, I'm facing a cold here, so sorry if I don't sound good. But yeah, 805 is a solid beer. It's nice to see them expanding further in the Midwest. So this is a Midwest story for the Midwest Beer Show. You're going to get 805 out in Minnesota.
Yeah, you're going to get the 805 Blonde, the 805 Cerveza, and the 805, which Dave spoke about earlier. So they'll all be coming to Minnesota there. I don't know if they got other things that are going to open up down the line or not. And I think this is their first beer in Minnesota from my understanding. So we'll see. I didn't realize the Firestone Walker is California and only 7 other states, I believe. So it's very limited to you can actually get them. Ohio, I think, is one of them, but you get Firestone obviously in Illinois, but like Buddy Joe, the Beer Patrol, he doesn't get them in New York unless they're sent to him, I think, from Firestone. So I don't think they distribute in New York. So it's kind of just weird how, it's always funny distribution of how it's in certain spots and that. But as we talked about before, you're right next to Ohio, but you don't get Great Lakes, right? You don't get a lot of.
No, I get Great Lakes. I can't get a lot of the Dragon's Milk doesn't come this way.
Dragon's Milk, New Holland. That's right. Dragon's Milk.
Your base Dragon's Milk, but the ones that we talk about, the variants, I couldn't tell you when I saw a variant last.
Yeah, which is weird. You're doing right there like that, but it's kind of.
Well, look at Pliny. You could get, Russian River in Pennsylvania, but you can't get it anywhere else outside of California.
Yeah, we literally are a flyover state for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, push it out DB Cooper style. We'll sit down there. We'll catch it.
But did they get it in Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Just recently, or was it been going for a while?
They've had it for a few years at least, because I know a buddy of mine, Floyd, who's out in Pennsylvania. He's like, oh, yeah, we get this. I mean, I don't think they get the younger, but they get the elder and
to get there. Yeah.
And the other stuff.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I actually have somebody I work with that's going out there, their spouse, to the younger event that's going to be taking place here next month. So he's going to try to get some bottles back and try to hook a brother up, so to speak.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm like, if you get it, let me know.
Let me just put how much for a sip? Yeah.
How much for one rib?
Yeah.
You want to order a rib? No, I just want one rib.
Yeah.
Great call out there. Funny movie. Ryan said we finished recording now. Just listen to you two and some sports right now. Quite the vibe. Oh yeah, there you go. That's a good relaxing night for sure.
Yeah.
Ryan's here in Cincinnati with me, so soak in the weather while we can because it's supposed to snow a day or two. 805. No, we never got the 805 from Firestone Walker in Cincinnati. I got it the first time I got it. I was in New Jersey. But raise a good point there. Maybe we don't get Firestone Walker. I have to check out if we get it anywhere. It'd be Jungle Gyms. I'll have to see when I'm at Jungle Gyms next time if we actually have Firestone Walker or the Firestone Walker website. I can just check out as well. Just to see the states they distribute to. But yeah. I'm just so used to them. I guess sending stuff now. I'm thinking we got it here, but maybe not. Maybe I'm one of the lucky few, which I appreciate. Thank you, Firestone.
The few, the chosen.
Yeah. I have not tried the Racer 5 IPA. I've seen it numerous times, just never picked it up. And then I don't think it's available now, is it? Or is it still out there?
I think it's still out there, but they don't distribute. I drank the shit out of that 25 years ago.
Okay.
And that used to be available here. I grabbed it once about maybe 5 years ago. I saw it for the show, but that was always one of my favorites. And they also did another one. It was a rye that was killer.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think last time I saw it, I think I'd seen that at Party Source before in Kentucky. But I thought for some reason the brewery might not be went out of business and might not be doing it anymore. So
no, I think their Republic's still around, but it's like all the ones like beer you got 20 years ago, you could never find again because they just don't distribute. Everybody's just focusing on their backyard now.
Yeah. But it wasn't Racer X. Wasn't it Racer X? I know it was like.
I thought it was Racer 5.
I think it's Racer 5 because it was based off like the Speed Racer, like the Mach 5. But Racer X was the brother of Speed Racer. And they had another variant that had that one, I believe, is what Big Daddy might be related to.
Yeah, Racer 5. I pulled up a thing of the can here. Now I got to see if it's near me here.
Yeah,
that was a classic. Yeah, I'm 21 years old, for Christ's sake. I'm looking at a website. I'm not buying fucking beer. Damn. Every fucking brewery.
That's the law, man. That's the law.
It doesn't have where you could buy it.
As if you wouldn't lie online or anything. Well, actually, I can look here. Yeah, Racer X is the Imperial one. And that was made like after the brother, Speed Racer that was outside the family. So, yeah. I always liked the little tie they had to the Speed Racer type thing there. Mm-hmm. Racer X, though, let me see.
They got a Racer 7 hazy IPA.
Racer X isn't near me. Is Racer 5 still near me? No, I'm not seeing that either. So they might not be distributed in this area at this point.
No, they don't have it within 100 miles of Chicago. I just pulled it up with my address, so there's nothing here.
Yeah. That and Hop Red Rye back in the day.
Yeah, Hop Rod. Yeah, that was phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah, so now I don't see it anymore. It's kind of like, man, I missed the bus on that one. I should have got it when I could. Oh, you got a Trader Joe's. Well, in Cali, you got it, but that's Bear Republic, so they're out west. So, yeah. Tennessee finally getting Great Lakes distributed with them. Rod, what do we need to do to get Treehouse? Yeah, Treehouse is one of those things that you just can't. They're not going to do it. Treehouse is just like, you got to come see us on that one. Which we do get. What's the other one from up there? Trillium. We do get Trillium in Ohio now. We do get Trillium over like at Cappy's, Ryan, and then it's also at Jungle Gym, some areas, a couple other spots. But the fact that we kind of get that is an other half now, that's not bad. We're not losing on those situations, but nobody's getting Treehouse unless they actually go there. But Treehouse is such a phenomenal beer to actually sit there and enjoy as well. I do like some Treehouse, although it's like you're drinking juice when you're drinking Treehouse, but that's okay.
Get your little pulp in it.
Yeah. Pulp it.
Yeah.
Today was a big day for the American Craft Beer Hall of Fame, right? So we had the new class that actually got into the American Craft Beer Hall of Fame, and have to give them some applause there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All worthy folks, and I'll show you, as being one of the electors, I'll show you who I had on my thing. But I will say we got like 5 different people we could put up. Almost 80%. 4 of my 5 did get in. So it was good to see that there as well. But if you didn't see earlier today at 3 p.m., it was announced on the new inductees. We had Charles Bamforth, who was actually added into the class. We had Larry Bell. We had Sam Caglione. We had Terry Ferendorf, Kim Jordan, Garrett Oliver, Pete Slosberg, which I know Dave's a personal favorite with Wicked Sale, and Carol Stout. So all 8 of them were this year's inductee class. All worthy. The list we had to choose from made it tough to actually pull. But getting a chance to actually meet Garrett was a cool thing that I had happen last year. Love to kind of connect with Sam and Larry. I didn't meet Larry. I met his team from Bell's last year at the CBC, which was awesome as well. But you can't argue with the list is just a great list of folks that got in that really put the roots down into craft beer. Kim Jordan, co-founded with the New Belgium and all the stuff they did out there. I wish they had some of the old New Belgium things we fell in love with when they were doing like the white label type stuff. But, right now Voodoo is paying the bills and keeping lights on, as we said earlier. Terry Ferendorf, her impact for women in brewing is just so impactful. Like, I think I had her down for the first time as well, but she didn't get in on the first ballot last year. But yeah, Sam, Larry, everybody, it's just a great list of folks. Now, I actually pulled up, I went back to see who I had on there. And I remember like most of them, and then who I had on my ballot. Pull it up here. So I actually had Charlie Bamforth because he was overdue. I had him last year as well. Terry Ferendorf, Kim Jordan, Garrett Oliver, and Mitch Steele. So the only one that didn't get in off my ballot was Mitch Steele, who I will be up again, I'm sure, next year as well. But all worthy. And Dave, you saw the list we had to choose from last. I mean, it was just tough decision. You can't really fault anybody, for not getting in or who all did get in. It was the way it's impacted is we all get these ballots and we put our people up, and it's a percentage of votes, just like the Baseball Hall of Fame. Although if you gamble, we don't hold that against you. Yeah. But and then the percentages go where they go. But it was great to see, and I was like, oh, great! Like 80% of the people I put down got in, so I was happy about that. So, but any of them that got in are all worthy. So it was great. Let me see here. Yeah, you did say before you were older than your picture, so lots of experience. Yeah. Ryan wants it all. There's a lot out there. There's a lot of beers out there. I don't know if you can handle it all to get all the beer and stuff that we have out there in the beer verse, so to speak. So yeah, congrats to them. Congrats to Marty and Aaron and Ahmed and everybody else that put it together from the Hall of Fame and everybody that was a part of it. Maybe next year, if you're watching Aaron or Marty, maybe I can be an MC or something. I'm just saying. Yeah, maybe I can have a little thing.
Marty invited me to come down earlier today. He sent me the invite and I wanted to go, but I'm fighting this cold here. So I'm like, and the brewery's a good hour and a half away. I'm like, I'm just not feeling it, a little under the weather, but definitely next year, if you're going to do something, make sure I'm definitely going to be there.
Yeah. The only thing is, I don't know if I can actually do anything on it since I'm one of the electors, but I think everybody that kind of made the announcements, I don't think any of them might have been electors. So it might be a kind of a.
I'm not an elector. I can do it.
Yeah, you can do it. You'd be perfect get in there and do it. Yeah. So yeah, but congrats to all of them for getting into the new second class of the Hall of Fame. Let me see here. And what we got. Pull this one up. And then we talk about
that. I gotta go off camera for a second. I'll be back in a minute.
All right. And then taking a look around, we were talking about some of the brewery closures earlier, and there's one that we had here from Reed City Brewing, where owners were determined to save business despite foreclosure threat, which is interesting because one of the things that we hear or see with some of these breweries out there is being foreclosed on, rents being raised, different financial type impacts. And here in Northern Michigan, this brewery here, Reed City, I've never had anything from them, but apparently they're trying to fight off foreclosure for what they have. They've been trying to make sure everything is done to make sure all their bills are covered. Get off my screen with the ad. And it just shows just the fight that a lot of these breweries are dealing with to get people in the seats to keep everything going now, going for what they're actually doing there. So it'll be interesting to see, not just with them, but over the next year, as we talked about, like the one brewery losing money due to tariffs, breweries losing situations with foreclosure or these rent being raised and all these different things. The financial impact really does hit a lot of the breweries. And I think a lot of times we do take it for granted that we can just go, well, depending on what state you're in, we can just go to our grocery store and get whatever beer we want, which we can, like here in Ohio, where Dave's at in Illinois, but some states you can't do that. I know they try to get grocery store sales in Georgia. That failed. They're trying it in Maryland. But when you're not actually going to the brewery, it doesn't make as strong of an impact. It makes an impact if you're buying at the store, but if you get a chance to go to the breweries, it just helps out a little bit more, I think. So just one of those things to kind of keep in mind because a lot of breweries are up against it right now.
Yeah, especially like, buying from a brewery, like the breweries can't undercut what they sell it at the store. So for the most part, I mean, it might be within 50 cents or $1, but even though what the brewery's selling the beer that's going to be sold at your grocery store, the brewery's probably only getting half of that. So they're definitely making more money when you buy a 4-pack or a 6-pack at the brewery as opposed at retail locations.
Yeah. Well, they might even be getting half of that because depending on the space and all that kind of stuff and fees and stuff they got to pay to have their beer in the store, right? So,
you know, and then you got to sell it wholesale, and then your wholesaler's making a cut, your retailer's making a cut. When you buy it at the brewery's getting all that money.
Right. So you're cutting out all basically when you go to the store and you got a middleman in there, right? So you're cutting out the middleman and you're going direct when you're going to the brewery. Now, let's see if my camera works this time. We're going to swirl around still. Oh, it's still going to act up. I don't know what the hell. All right, let me go back to my other camera before it screws everything up again. I was going to share the next beer I was actually drinking here just to see if it did work.
Oh, don't start that again, Rod. Oh, here we go again. Here's the Dave show. I got a messed up eye, got dental issues, and you're putting my ugly ass on big screen. What the shit? Well, the next beer I'm having, I'm doing another NA while we're waiting for Rod. This is Nostalgic Ski Lodge. This is a winter IPA from our friends over at Go Brewing. This is an IPA with juniper berries. I'm a fan of this one. I think this one's pretty good. So if you are a fan of NA beers and you see this from Go, definitely grab this one. Both Rod and I are ambassadors with them. So drop our names, help the shows out a little bit, but definitely a big fan of this Nostalgic Ski Lodge. So if you're looking for a NA winter IPA, grab the one from Go.
Yeah. So you really dug that one then.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah. I'm a fan of that one. I like the juniper berries. It's not like drinking gin, but it does have a nice, like, subtle taste to it that I'm digging.
Okay. Yeah, I've had that one and I've done a review on it. I didn't dislike it. It's just, I feel like that was that one I had it, I felt got me closer to almost like that seltzer type feel than some of the other ones they actually had.
Now, are you a gin fan? Do you like gin?
Oh yeah, I like gin. I like gin. Yeah. In fact, I wish more breweries would do more gin barrel because the gin barrel beers I've had, I've really enjoyed. Everything doesn't have to be whiskey. That's what I'm saying. I've had tequila barrel, which I've enjoyed. I've had gin,
mezcal barrels.
Just branch out a little bit more to some of the other barrels. I've had some of the, even like some wine barrel beers, and it's just like something a little bit different. But yeah, no, it's the juniper. You get the flavor, you get that coming through and stuff. It's just, I feel like it's kind of funny because the beer I'm actually drinking right now is the Easy Jack from Firestone, and when I was having the Go Brewing and I had the Easy Jack, I was like, wait a minute. It was very similar taste-wise on my palate. And I'm like, I've always thought about drinking a Go Brewing and putting it up against more of the full body type beers, but really, Easy Jack being more of a sessional beer, it matched up more. Obviously, you're reducing some of the alcohol. So it's kind of like, if I look at this as being closer to a sessionable type beer, it makes more sense to me now than when I put it up between that. Like if I had this versus a Go Brewing, I'd have more of a gray area if I could tell maybe the difference apart. So yeah, it kind of just related a little bit differently to me after I did the Easy Jack before. But I like it. I mean, like I said, I have no problem with the beers we've been doing with Go Brewing, and both of us, sharing stuff about them because we both do believe in the product. It's just it wasn't one of my top ones for them. So
okay.
So yeah. But still a good beer for NA beer, which is still beer. Yeah. It's always the Dave show. I'm just here. So yeah. I just host.
I'm sitting here sneezing, coughing. We had this timed up right though when you were.
Oh, we have our host when I date. Big deal, right? Yeah, right. So yeah, that's the fun. We have a blast. We do what we do. But this is something kind of interesting. This next one, because I wanted to get your feedback on it because you've actually messed around with this thing, and I never did. And the question came up on a piece that I was reading about reinvented homebrew and how Piner is bringing draft beer home. And my thought is, when you have the pinter, are you really brewing beer? I mean, you're going through a process to make your own beer at the house, but is it like fully going through, if you're doing a home brew from all malt or grains or
even extract.
Right? I don't think I think it simplifies that aspect of it. But if the end result gets you that draft feel, maybe it's that shortcut that people are really enjoying. What are your thoughts on the whole thing with the Piner revolution?
And, they sent the unit out to me a couple years ago, and along with some kits. The first one, it was totally my fault. I screwed up on the first kit, where the water that you use is supposed to be room temperature. I used it straight from, we have a filter. We have, like, in our kitchen sink, we have a spot for filtered water. I just used that, which was cold, and it didn't dissolve all of the liquid extract. So the first batch was super thin, but that was my fault. So the second batch, I poured it into a big jug, left it out, for a day to get it up to room temperature, and it was better. It was drinkable. There was nothing wrong with it, but it was just there. And I tried a couple different of their kits. For me, I would want, especially at home brewing, I want to be able to customize a little bit more. I want to put more into it. Like, this was the equivalent to just putting a K-cup in your Keurig machine and press and go. So it was good if that gets more people into beer and in the hobby. For me, I think if you have ever homebrewed before, you're not going to be a huge fan of this. If this is something you've never done, then if you've never homebrewed, this could be up your alley and can get you into bigger and better things. So I'm definitely not poo-pooing it. Just for me, it wasn't all that.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like, looking at it now with all the AI stuff, I feel like the Pinter's become the AI of brewing. It's just put it in there, flip a button, and let the thing do the work, but you're not really putting in the work to get that beer out. It's kind of just auto drive.
You have like this big packet of liquid extract. So there's no, like, you're not doing a partial mash. You're not steeping any grains. You get like a packet of, and I don't even remember, I think they weren't even like pellet hops. I think these were like, it was a hop extract that was in a vial. You pour that in there. You let it ferment for about a week. Then you put it in the fridge. And then, you attach your tap. The tap, you got to make room in the fridge. I mean, it's not small. It's bigger than a gallon of milk. It's probably the equivalent of 2 gallons of milk in your refrigerator. Plus, you need a higher shelf for the tap handle. It always seemed to drip. So, for me, it didn't outweigh the good of it.
Yeah. Okay.
And you're only brewing, roughly, you're getting like 11 to 12 beers out of there, maybe less, if you're pouring full pints. So, a lot of work. I'll just buy a 12-pack.
You got to wait like for 2 weeks, I think, right?
Yeah, around 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. Which you can, extract, or, if you have like the old kit, the Mr. Beer type thing, you can go like maybe 2 weeks on a few of their things and be able to get more than that amount out. You can get like a case out, right? So
I want to do another home brew thing later on this year, maybe when it gets a little warmer out. Do like a 1 gallon kit, which doesn't take up the space. I'll just bottle it and, go from there. But I want to do some things getting back into home brewing, but definitely I want to go like the 1 gallon kits. And I know like there's some, malt companies that, we've spoken to that have malt that you could get for home brewers. So I'd like to use some craft malt and experiment a little that way. With like the pinter, you're pretty much just opening the envelope and putting it in. With this, I can control it a little more.
Yeah, yeah. And you can put like touches in too when you see maybe an opportunity. Like you're not just putting it in their system, but you might have ideas of where you can kind of put your own spin on things. You have more control over it, I would think, outside the pinter. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I've never used it before. I know people that have used it. I know some mixed reviews out there, but wanted to check to see what you thought of it there when I saw that story as well. Beer etiquette, right? So you see these pop up from time to time. Saw this piece out there on Yahoo, made me laugh a little bit, just kind of see what they had on there. But if you get a beer at a brewery that's poured this way, you may want to leave. We talked about some things in the past, and they make some notes on here, just kind of how the beer is poured. It's kind of stuff that we hit on there before, I think, a little bit. You know, if you see the tap is in the beer, it shouldn't be the case, right? Yeah, like you want to probably not buy beer from that place anymore. If the bartender hands you the beer and their fingers in the beer, I mean, it's just some of the stuff. But it's kind of interesting just to see some of these things that take place. You know, it takes a mention, and this is something I saw earlier today when we went to Texas Roadhouse for lunch with the bubbles clinging to the side, which is, you know, for those that don't know, I mean, there's a beer clean glass and there's a clean glass. So the glass can be clean, but if everything hasn't been taken out of it, as far as like some of the cleansing solution, it could cause clinging to the side. That's why you see bubbles sometimes on these glasses, and it's just like, I don't know if there's enough training that takes place for some of these places to actually realize that. Now, at a brewery, I would expect it to be more in place for them to have that there than maybe like a chain type restaurant or something where it might not be the case. But if you see like as we call the dirty glass mafia, where you have like a beer dirty glass, it's something you want to consider. So when you have your glass, the glass should be clean. You should have a nice head on the beer, like shown here as well, because that opens up the aroma, and also you want to have the pour release like the gas and stuff, so you're not bloated and everything. There's just certain things with it. I see some people that try to jam all the beer into a glass, don't leave any head on it or whatever. And I'm like, that's not really the best way to kind of pour that out there. So yeah, just kind of a reminder, just keep an eye on how your beer might be served if you want to get the best representation of it. And it does hurt, the mixed mention here, it goes back on the breweries that people may get a beer served a certain way and think it might be the beer from the brewery. It's not how the beer should have been intended to be served. So all that comes into play as well. But yeah, but like here, for starters, make sure there's sufficient head that it isn't all the way to the rim. No head means the beer is still full of gas, right? Like I just mentioned there. So yeah, all that stuff kind of
no head is never a good thing.
Yeah. Now there are certain beer styles where the head will dissolve really quickly and it won't last around. You know, you have like some of that with some of the old Bruins or some of the sour type stuff, some of the higher ABV imperial stouts have trouble holding the head sometimes. But for your standard type beers, you should always have that head on there. Not to say it's got to be a huge head, but usually it's like an inch or two, a 2-finger, whatever you want to call it, that you want to have that space in there, because that's going to actually make the beer drinking experience that much more better, because you're going to be able to pick up those aromas. You're going to be able to release those gases so you're not feeling bloated. You're going to be able to sit there and enjoy that beer a lot more when you have that be the situation. So just a little thing to share here. Just, you know, make sure if you're out there looking around, make sure you're seeing how that beer is actually being served, because there are proper ways to actually serve the beer. And it said like aggressive overfoaming, where can be a sign the glass isn't properly rinsed as well. So sometimes that can happen. I see that sometimes, like, because some of the beer festivals even happening where they do stuff like that. So yeah, but it's interesting. It was like I said, it was just a kind of a piece out there letting people know. So figured I'd share that on here. You can sit.
Now, you said you were at Texas Roadhouse. Mm-hmm. I haven't been to one of them in years, so I can't speak for them. But one thing that I've always noticed about places like that, your bigger chain restaurants, I always notice when you grab a beer, they're all the same temperature, and to me, it's way too cold.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. When you have those type of restaurants, the Texas Roadhouse, the Fridays, the Applebee's, the whatever it may be, they're always like running their kegs at a certain temperature. Usually, if you're running, your keg temperature should be between 34, 35 to about 37, 38. And they run all their beer lines at that. And that's also keeping into account they're actually watching their beer lines and they're doing what they're supposed to do, because sometimes that isn't the case at some of the chain spots. But that's where it is. But when you think about drinking a beer, if you're drinking an IPA, ideally you want to drink that IPA at around 44 to about 48, 49 degrees. If you're drinking a stout, really, you want to drink that around 52 to 57. That opens up the flavors, that opens up the thing. So whenever, like we go to one of these places, if I get something like that, like today I had a Sam Adams Cold Snap, so it was fine for what I was drinking. But if I get like a stout somewhere, I got to sit there, and I'll usually get it. I might put my hands around a glass to help warm it up or whatever like that, or anything. I got to let it sit for a bit because it comes out too cold at some of those places. Now, the thing you run into with some of those places is they don't usually have that kind of stuff on there because they're all the macros are dominating what's on their lines, right? But when you get into some other places that might not be aware, because you can get some mom and pop type restaurants or whatever like that and everything that cater to get some craft stuff in there, they may not be aware as well. So you have to be careful about some of that stuff. But yeah, you always want to make sure you're drinking at the right temperature for sure. But I had a cold snap in years, and I do like cold snap for Sam Adams. I think they do a good job with it. But and then this last couple weeks and stuff, it's been more and more coming out. But even though it's more Scotland, England, we do have locations here in the Midwest, like in Ohio and Indianapolis and Indiana, and well, not Midwest, but East with Pittsburgh and stuff. But get the whole BrewDog fiasco, right? And they're in a fight pretty much, I guess, where they're brewing life over there, so to speak. And their investors now are being basically told, well, what they put into it, they're going to basically lose, like they got Madoff or something, right? But I'm like, if you make an investment, you always have that fear of the downside of a risk. So you might lose what you put into it. But apparently, the way they're losing it, I guess you're not supposed to lose it, or it's like some type of incompetence that took place maybe, or however that's taking place. Unlike Rogue, which Rogue was a corporate spot, but it wasn't like they had private investment like they kind of did with BrewDog here. So it's kind of interesting to see, but I feel like BrewDog, back in the day, I used to watch the BrewDog show when it was on TV, and I had a few BrewDogs, and I felt like at a point they did become more of a corporate type brewery than the independent where they started. So they kind of veered off that path, but I don't know. I feel like they had so many self-inflictions they put on themselves. It's almost expected for them to have to struggle at this point. But I do feel bad for those people that were invested in it. I feel like they might be getting screwed now. I don't know if you're seeing stuff.
You know, I don't really talk about them. I don't drink them. You definitely know about it. But even when they were coming up and they were big, that always seemed to be more like they were more like a style brewery, not a substance brewery to me. So I never really got into them. Their beers that I had were decent, but nothing like, oh, I have to go out and get this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say I've never had anything for them that was kind of like that earth-shattering type appeal to it. I did like their Nitro Jet. I can't remember the full name of it, but they had a stout that was pretty good. But you know, they were stacked up against some of the breweries we had here. It was like, yeah, they got some stuff happening, but it's not crazy. I did want to go to the Columbus Hotel at some point because I think that'd be a pretty cool experience that they set up there where you can stay at the brewery and, you know, you got the beer in the shower, you got the beer keg in the room type thing. It seemed like a fun type thing to actually do. I've had a few friends that have done that really enjoyed it, but they were always kind of going out there as a niche type thing or trend type thing. They're always just kind of, I don't know, they were just kind of like, you never really had like a full 100% focus, it seems, with them. So I'm not surprised on some of the stuff they've kind of run into here. But at the same point, it's kind of crazy like how this has fallen back onto these private investors that were put into the situations, what they're saying or whatever. But I'm like, then again, but you're investing in it, and that's part of the investing. You might go in and you might lose your money because it's an investment, right? It's not a sure thing, but there's a lot of people pissed off right now overseas. So yeah, it'll be interesting to keep an eye on. And then now they're having one of the owners try to come back and maybe take it back over to buy it out, but we'll see. James Watt was trying to do something there, but the other one that was the other part of that was the brewer left already. Yeah. So the guy that had all the recipes isn't even there anymore. So
Kings and convicts, you can pick them up. You can buy them.
Get them for cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. I know overseas they're talking more about it. You know, for the time, I think we had the story about it like months back when they got like pulled off of shelves over there. Like, so yeah, they're kind of up against it, but kind of interesting just to see a fall of such a brewery that kind of built its way up, and then now they're kind of dealing with where they're at. Anyway, let's get into this here. So this was something I saw earlier. I don't know if you saw this or had a chance to look at it.
It won't let me read the article because of my ad blocker, so I couldn't read it at all.
Okay. Well, this was out on Brewbound talking about, and this whole past. Go ahead. What you gonna say?
No, I didn't see the Brewbound one. I didn't see that one, so I'll pull that one up while you're talking about it.
Yeah. So this past week is so funny because I came across this, but this past week I actually featured RTDs on the channel, but it talks about spirits RTDs are gaining in stores as beer sales are sliding. So we're seeing more of that space getting squeezed by RTDs. It may mention that beer, hard cider, hard seltzer sales have dropped 3% last year. Where on the other hand, THC beverages surged triple digits up, and then they're also seeing a rise there with the RTDs and stuff. So just kind of some perspective out there, just like this is one of the reasons why I shared the channel, because you're seeing more of these creep into the beer space and taking up some of that space where, you know, we saw beers, and some people are getting into that field. You know, that's why we're seeing some stuff down. Now, THC will be interesting because something has to be done before September, October, under what they're kind of facing. And so that's kind of wait and see there, but you are seeing RTDs kind of move forward through a little bit more that are actually now threatening some stuff there. I don't know what your thoughts are on the RTD area or things along those lines.
Yeah, you know, some are good, some are just It looks like what I know that RTD, what is it, that Beatbox, Anheuser-Busch just completed the sale of that, so they're now the majority owner. Some of the RTDs are decent, and some of them are just like, you know, I don't know. Like I had one of a spritz that was like a ready-made spritz, and it was mediocre. Like you could do it at home a lot better, but I also see the value in it where not everybody has all of the ingredients at home to make this, and you don't necessarily want to have all this stuff on hand. So you could just go get an RTD, whether it's like one of those on the rocks beverages, or, you know, they have the pre-made Jack and Cokes that are out there. So I see the benefits, but I think you could do it better yourself at home.
Yeah, I think if you're making the drink yourself, like you said, some people don't want to kind of do that. And I myself, like this week, when I posted those videos, some of those RTDs really surprised me and how actually good they were. Now, I did a lineup through On the Rocks and different ones I have from their lineup, but some of them definitely hit. Made me think, well, maybe when I go elsewhere, maybe I'll get that cocktail instead of maybe having a beer or something like that, or kind of break up the routine a little bit, which occasionally I've been lately on an old fashioned run. So I've been drinking old fashioned.
I love me an old fashioned.
Yeah. So I've been like doing that with different whiskeys and stuff like that and everything. But yeah, it was just interesting. But yeah, again, we're seeing where that's creeping into the beer area and taking away shelf space. So that's another thing that beer is up against right now.
You got those beat boxes, and what's that other one? Have you ever had those? What is it? Bruise balls or whatever? It's like a
buzz balls or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't had any of those, but there was apparently some story this week about some guy fed a buzzball to a bird or whatever. And I think I don't know if something and the bird attacked the guy. I think I didn't get a chance to watch the story because I was working, but it was like playing in the background off of CNN and they're like, this is why you don't want to feed a buzzball to a bird. It was like one of those like big birds, and apparently, I guess it was buzzed and started to attack the guy.
Give the bird some good liquor.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Gabriel.
Because those buzzballs, those are like a wine. Hey, what's going on? But yeah, I think those buzzballs are all like a wine-based cocktail too. So I don't know. That's just like diabetes in a ball. It's like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I don't think that was a good move on the person's part for sure. Yeah. But it is what it is, so to speak. Now, one of the things that we see with some of the buyouts that are taking place or stuff closing, sometimes they aren't closed out. Sometimes they get absorbed by other companies that can help them out, right? So we just had this with Left Hand. Great shout out to them. You get Gary back on the show here at some point. But Bootstrap Brewing is joining Left Hand now as part of their collective in Longmont. So not having to go under, but having now you're partnered up with a great brewery of a great size to now be partnered with you is definitely a help, right? And that can actually help you keep going and things. And it's kind of like what we saw with the Sam Adams and Dogfish Head. Although Dogfish Head wasn't in trouble, but it's like one of these things. If you can make conglomerates out of smaller breweries coming under your fold, is great.
Well, Bootstrap, now they're part of this. They didn't get bought out. Bootstrap has some equity in this Left Hand collective. So this is a little different than like a buyout. Because I know Bootstrap, they put out some killer stuff too. I had them on the show last year or the year before. So I think this is kind of like another one that's a win-win, that you have these smaller places like in Colorado here that instead of going up against the man, you're joining forces to, help take them on.
Right. And like it mentions on here some of the beers they'd actually done as well. Scroll down. No, I saw it on here, but like the Havoc Imperial Red, the Insane Rush IPA, award-winning hoppy beers. Yeah, so I mean, they're joining the collective, and we saw this with when it was Southern Tier, Victory, and I forgot the other brewery did it years ago, where they all came together under one thing, right? And I say that because if it gives you more strength. You're basically doing the Walmart type thing of brewing, right? Like if you're getting like strength from putting it all together to give you more buying power and be able to do some things rather than being your own out there as an individual. So kind of interesting just kind of see them falling into the fold as well and seeing how they'll actually go. They also had an investment there with Oscar Blues as well. So yeah, it's good. I think it's good. Left Hand also previously taken in Dry Dock Brewing as well last year. So they're building something up out there in Colorado, which is a good thing, I think, because again, it's strength and being able to all come together under that umbrella rather than maybe you out there trying to fight the battle yourself, where it might be a little bit harder. So congrats to them. Let me see here. Yes, sir. Definitely. It's great to see you. It's been a while, my friend. Do you do beer and alcohol rebates online? It's good. Actually, it's so funny. I actually did have a rebate one time. It's like I actually why do you mail in a rebate? But I had to mail one from Rheingeist or whatever. Occasionally it's good. I like when they give them like instant rebates, so a little bit more where it's not a hassle, but yeah.
Well, there's been some now that like you get it in your PayPal account like a day later. Like we were talking about Pabst. It was a crazy deal. Got like a 30-pack of PBR for like $13.99, and then there was a $10 rebate. And all you had to do was like you took a picture of this QR code, Arizona, how are you? Then you just take a picture of your store receipt, and like the next day I had $10 in my PayPal account. And there was another recent brewery or another thing that I bought, and the same thing. It was like, I'll take a picture of your receipt, and then like this was like 2 days later. Oh, you got like $3 back from such and such. I'm like, okay.
Well, money back is always kind of nice. It's just like finding extra dollars or so in your laundry, right?
Yeah.
So,
I got to give a quick shout out. The bottle shop I go to, Bottles and Cans. I stopped there today before the show because I wanted to get something for the show. And the guy, like, he watches the videos and stuff. I talked to him. He's like, "Oh, I've got one for you. Have you ever had this from Art History? This is called Book of Kells. It's a dry Irish style stout, only 4%." But he said it's been getting some really good feedback. And big shout out to my guy at Bottles and Cans. You nailed this one. This is a good one.
nice. Well, it's a good time for that too, because we head into March, of course, with St. Patty's Day. That dry Irish stouts and well, if you get like the Great Lakes, you get the mixed thing now. You got the Irish Lager and you got the Irish Stout and you got the what's the other one they got?
The Conway's Red.
Yeah, Red Ale. Yeah. So, and I think they got mixed 6-pack where you get 2 of each, or a mixed 12-pack.
Yeah,
where you get
I haven't seen that here. I'll have to look for it because I definitely want to pick that up in the next couple of weeks because I make my corned beef with the Conways. So I always make my corned beef with the Conway's Irish Red. I've been doing that for 20 years. So that's always a winner.
Yeah. I know last year I got the red and I got this stout because it was the first time it came out, and I did a mix between them, which was a pretty good mix as well if you put them together. I was trying to get like a black and red type thing, but it just didn't work out as well. But taste-wise, it was still good. So I haven't done the lager yet. So if you get the lager, you might have a better success to try and do that with like the stout, do like a black and tan type thing. But definitely looking forward to trying that. We'll have a lot of good St. Patty's type stuff happening. And one of our places here, they actually do a keg and eggs. I've never been. I was thinking about trying to go there this year just to kind of see how it all goes and stuff. But end up and drinking at 6 a.m. That's like, I haven't done that since like way back when, right?
Yeah, drink all day if you don't start in the morning. That's it.
That takes me way back to the tailgate days. What is up, Jacob? Welcome from Minnesota. Hey. Cheers, my friend. Great to have you here. Yeah, I'm in Ohio and Dave's in Illinois, so we do hit on some of the Midwest stuff. We try to hit on as much as we can, but then we also spread out to more of the national stuff too. So welcome. Great to have you in. And
hope you're having a surly or something right now.
Yes. Oh, surly. Yeah. Surely he's having a surly.
Yeah.
Conway's a solid. Edmund Fitzgerald. The fridge. I hear you, Jordan. Keep it
Edmund Fitzgerald. Yeah, that's one of my. That would be in my all-time mix pack. I'd have to have one of it and Edmund Fitzgerald in there.
Nice. And seriously, Beer Man hooked you up with that logo. That I like the new logo, buddy. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's see here. Where are we at here? Okay, so let's get into this. These will be these other ones, like a couple discussion pieces, so to speak, before we get to the final news item, which will be the great news out of Chicago for one of the breweries. Pull this up. So they asked some different brewers what they thought are 10 beers, or what's the most overrated. They asked 10 beer pros most overrated beer style, so to speak, which is kind of interesting to see what they would actually put on the list here. I don't know if you got a chance to take a look at it or not, but what they found from them, Imperial Stouts. I don't think they're overrated on Imperial Stout. I like a good Imperial Stout myself, but brewed adjunct beers.
I could kind of see that.
Yeah. Pastry stouts. We do have a lot of pastry stouts, though, but I still enjoy them.
Yeah, I just kind of lost you. So, pastry stouts?
Yeah, pastry stouts. I do enjoy them, but you get into some of the lactose type stuff with those as well. Yeah. So, I know you're with the lactose. I don't think Czech style beers. I don't think that's
I don't get that one.
I would like to see more Czech style beers.
Yeah.
Don't see as many of the barley wines as much as we used to, but barley wines on the list. High ABV stouts.
Well, that's right up there with like Imperial Stout. Yeah. Usually your Imperials are higher in ABV.
Yeah. Well, Imperial is, at least over 8%, right? So now they're saying high ABV, or maybe they're thinking of like Goose Island type stuff where you're getting in double digits, maybe. Milkshake IPAs. I don't see as many of the milkshake IPAs like we were a few years ago. Now, I will say those were kind of overrated for me for what you were. I mean, it's like you were drinking juice or whatever, but I didn't hate them. I mean, you know, beers with aggressive, strong flavors. Now, that doesn't tell me a damn thing.
Yeah.
On that one.
Who wrote this? Kind of clickbait shit is this is on Vine Pair.
This is a
Vine Pair is legit. So all right.
Double and triple IPAs. I think IPAs in general are overrated as far as I feel like they get pushed out too much on folks and people don't get to experience other type of beer styles they might enjoy more. But so many people are used to asking for them because they I feel like they've been trained that way to ask for IPAs. So but that's double and
like
triple,
generic, that's like asking for a Band-Aid. You know, you might be getting a Cure ad or something like that, but IPA is just like the generic term now.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you like more of a malty type feel, I think if you get a double and triple, you get more of that maltiness that sometimes that can offset. And then American light lagers. Now,
come on, man.
People have definitely been going for more of the light lagers here recently. So you're going where the market's actually going. So this is like, I don't know if there's anything on the list that kind of you object with or things like maybe something you think should be on the list that isn't on the list or something.
Yeah, I mean, American light lagers. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I'm calling bullshit on that. I mean, every brewery's coming out with their version. I had that Cold Time from Revolution right now. You know, that's a moneymaker because people drink it. Dude, come on. Mm-hmm. So, no, I definitely disagree with that. Czech style beers, no, you're crazy.
Yeah,
you're crazy, dude. You overrated. Get the hell out of here. I mean, I could see it with like the pastry stouts and the milkshake IPAs. Yeah. God, I remember a couple years ago, everybody was putting this glitter shit in their beer. But come on, man.
You used to get that shit.
Yeah. Don't be dissing on American light lagers.
Yeah, this is Holly Deal, head of sales, was not even a brewer, head of sales at West East Brewing. I embrace a popular Paul Mob or Mob Pilva, but I began to notice Czech styles becoming an empty distinction. If Czech ingredients, recipes, or brewing processes are not used, then seeing descriptions like 12-degree Play-Doh Czech style on a beer menu just reads as empty words, empty buzzwords. She's not really saying anything about why she thinks it's overrated, though. So, I mean, you're head of sales. Just saying.
Yeah.
Barley wine. This is from owner and brewmaster Space Cadet Brewing in Philadelphia. Every year, people pretend their palates are more refined as they choke down what often tastes like boozy cough syrup and insist they love it. There are a few good examples out there, but too much of the style feels suffering disguised as sophistication. Big and intense doesn't automatically make a beer great. Yeah, but I think in different styles you can find stuff to be issues too. I mean,
some of the barrel-aged barley wines that I get from Rev are second to none.
And people love good Bigfoot.
Yeah,
I know. So, who is this here? Brendan Arnold, head brewer, Austin and Endon Beer Company, talking about the 12% ABV barrel-aged imperial stouts and pastry stouts are overrated, so much so the consumer just collects them and doesn't find a special enough occasion to open them. Well, okay, so to Brendan's point, I wouldn't say it's special enough occasion. Maybe some people are that way. They want to save them for a special moment. But I think a lot of people actually buy them because they know they can hold them and drink them later. Yeah. So that gets into the whole beer cellar type mentality as well. But there are some things that you want to, like if you get a special, like I got Dragon's Milk, the D&D version I picked up. That was kind of a thing I do want to have that for a special occasion. So I can't lie about that. I mean, but you know, there are some beers out there you want to have that for. It doesn't mean it's overrated to actually do it and everything. Yeah. And plus sometimes you have too much beer, you can't get to them all. Like me. So that's why you buy stuff where you know you can hold it for a few years. Yeah. Milkshake IPAs. This is from Dave. Argus owner at Beer Mill. They resemble classic IPAs, just taste like juice. Yeah, we said that earlier about them taste like juice, but you know what? Treehouse isn't going out of business and people love Treehouse. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting.
People going crazy over what was that one that was exploding? The 450s for a while.
Mhm.
Like I hardly ever see those anymore.
Oh, they're still going out here. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they do their corn maze every year and stuff, and they
Mhm.
get people that come out like crazy. But they kind of ran into it when people were like finding out they weren't really legit on the ABVs there. They had to kind of go back up to build up from that point. So that was kind of interesting there. Let me see here. Check some of the comments before I go to the next one. Back in my day when I used to fly off around the country, I drink early at the airports. I still get my drink on sometime I go there. Yeah.
Airport, there's airport beers are the best. That's right up there with shower beers. You can drink an airport beer at 5 a.m. No one's going to judge you on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Last night we went to Cancun. We didn't take an early flight and I went to go get a beer. My wife was like, it's 6 a.m. I'm like, is the bar open? If the bar's open, I'm going over.
God, I remember once, me and my buddy, this was like 10 years ago, we were going to San Diego for a beer day. So we were just flying down to go to your Ballast Point, your AleSmiths. We were just hitting all the breweries in San Diego. And it was like a 6 o'clock in the morning flight, 6:30 in the morning flight. And we stopped at the club and we had a maker's mark at 5 a.m. I'm like, let's hit it, man. Let's get this ball rolling.
You said you can't go all day if you don't start early. So, Edmund Fitzgerald, the porter, that's when they got Jordan going there and keep it funky. Yeah, it's a good one to start out with for sure. Yeah. I don't know. Both the Czech style beers are awesome and super crushable. Use pastry style and imperial styles. I get the milkshake, uber fruited sour. So you agree with that? Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of like this preference type thing. Triple IPAs and quadruple ale. That's the big ABVs. American light lagers always catching strays. I must admit, it's still something I consume. Might just be nostalgic. Well, people like the American light. We don't want anything kind of heavy, right? And with some of the younger generation now, that's becoming a trend with them. If they're going to drink, they want like a light lager or something not heavy. And if people are, think about the people that are like kind of getting their bodies more in shape when they're older and stuff like that. Yeah, the light lager is going to have a spot out there. I feel like some of those are on the list because people don't want to make them. Like the people are just like kind of got like something against them for some reason. Like, light lager. There's nothing wrong with light lager. Yeah. I mean, what I'm drinking right now is a 4.2 sessionable Easy Jack, right? It's just easy drinking sessionable IPA.
Yeah. I mean, I'm drinking a 4% stout. I mean, there's a place for everything.
Yeah, I mean, like if I'm on a golf course, I'm not going to be drinking an IPA for the 18 rounds and drinking one every few holes or whatever. I'm going to want like a light or crushable type lager to actually sit there and enjoy. It's bad enough trying to find a damn golf ball. I can't do it with an IPA.
Like one I've talked about before, like that one from Kirkland. Their Kirkland lager that's made by Deschutes, phenomenal. 4.5%. You could get this, obviously Costco only, but you could buy a 12-pack of this for like $13.99. Outstanding beer. Like I would drink this every day.
Well, it's like here, Rheingeist has the Cincy Light, and you can get a 12-pack of that for like $12.99 or whatever at Kroger. So yeah, you throw them out there, you go to the picnic, the barbecue, go play golf, wherever you're going to go with it, and it's like a crushable light lager for you out there. Bud Light, I mean, I got nothing against Bud Light. It's just not one of my favorite ones to actually sit there and enjoy. But if it works for you, that'll work. There's Bud Light, there's Coors Light, there's all the different light. Except Dave won't do Mick Ultra now because he's had it once and he's done with it. But
learn my lesson there.
Yeah, it's whatever hits your taste buds, right? So whatever you prefer. Wild East is awesome out of Brooklyn. They make some awesome brews. Good to know. What is up, Shanna? You can always ask.
Always ask a question.
Yeah. We're always open for the Q&A. Blue Moon. Yeah, well, Blue Moon's a whip beer. You can kind of drink that there too. Does Blue Moon have a light? They might have a light now too.
Yeah, I think they do. And then they had that Imperial Blue Moon.
You did that. I didn't do that. You did that.
Yeah, that was just like too boozy. I'm like, no, this is not good.
I feel like that's like when I see it I've seen it now in Kroger in a section where it's kind of like I just need a couple of beers so I can get tore up for a few bit. So that's like it's in that section where the tear up beers are.
Yeah, that's just like the Voodoo Ranger Blue Moon. It's like, come on. Not everything needs to be imperial.
I think Noah's stuck with you with the Michelob Ultra. Like, tell me you don't think Miller High Life is better.
Miller High Life is better than Michelob Ultra.
He thinks you had a bad Michelob Ultra, so I like High Life better than
I don't know if there's a good one. They should put good one on the can. No, I drink the High Life over Michelob Ultra every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't fault you on that. I would do the High Life as well. But again, it's all preference.
I'm waiting to hear this question now.
Yeah. Shannon, Shannon wants the question there. And why? Let's see, we'll get the question. But the other piece we are looking at here. So this will be interesting thing. Just kind of a walk down nostalgic lane, so to speak. 17 things that changed in the beer in the past 2 decades, which 26 going back to 05, 06. Anything that rings a bell to you here?
One of the first things in this first sentence, they talked about lemon drop hops. I love lemon drop hops. That's
you talking about under the caramel malt or in the beginning up here?
Right underneath that first paragraph. Here. Yeah. Lemon drop hops are good. Like, I wish more beers would use those. Those are really good.
Yeah. Great phenomenon over the past 20. Most were fleeting criteria, market industry, glitter beer. Thanks to freaking DeClaw with that. Lemon drop hops, Vortex bottles. With some developments they're kind of going through. So we had here for number 17, decline of caramel malt. Yeah, and I do remember caramel malt was really popular back in the day, and now you're seeing a decline of it. But it used to add a little bit more of that body to it to sweeten up the beer. It's a great malt. I don't know. I don't know what made the change. If it's just been. Well,
I think a lot of it's your hazy IPA, where they're all for the most part very light in color. Where I don't think you don't get anything to balance out the overkill of hops. So I think hazy IPA is probably the big reason for decline in caramels.
Yeah, well, because you're definitely bringing in more sweetness with it, right? So that was the trend. Then they had large brewery consolidation, which we've seen that be the case out there as well. Talking about like Anheuser-Busch gobbled up by Miller and Coors merged. Different ones that were taking place out there. Sierra Nevada is second if you exclude Boston Beer's non-beer production. Yingling. I mean, you had Anheuser, AB, and Bev definitely buying some of the different ones. You have Miller and Coors. You have Tilray buying a lot of stuff out there now too. But with the large breweries, I mean, really, Miller and Coors is really the one that really emerged. Anheuser-Busch, I feel like Anheuser-Busch have been merged. Yeah, but they've kind of been doing stuff like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like they were merged a while back, but maybe it wasn't the last 20 years.
But, I mean, that's no different than any other big business. I mean, how many banks have merged over the days? I couldn't tell you. I've probably been on my 5th bank, and it's only been one bank, but they keep getting bought out and they change their names. Or, cell phone companies where you used to have like Cellular One, Singular, all these other ones, and now they just keep getting bought out. So I don't know if the large brewery consolidation is any different than business in general.
Yeah, I remember back in the 90s when they talked about like a lot of these banks were going to be doing that, which is kind of crazy when you started seeing it come to fruition, where the big ones were eating the little ones there. But I mean, you had the major ones there, and they become, like it says on here, multinational conglomerates. And so now you have like the largest being Yingling, and then you have Sierra Nevada, you have Boston Beer. But yeah, I mean, that's like the business cycle, though. Yeah, you said there. Hop products, some of the innovations taking place with that, with the oil extracts, concentrations, isolates. I've talked to here before about the terpenes that you can actually add in versus actually having maybe the hops and stuff. That's kind of been something different. Like smartphones, that was kind of interesting to see that there. But you go to any beer fest, people on their phones definitely doing Untapped and different things, or depending how deep they're into it, they might be doing Beer Advocate. But you do see more people turn into that kind of stuff, or like I mentioned here, look up things and see what people think about a beer before they buy it, type stuff.
Yeah.
So that's kind of come into place. Which I always say, just be careful if you're using that to try to get some advice, because everybody's going to be different. I would say, try the beer for yourself. If it sounds like something you may like, try it for yourself.
Try it.
Yeah.
Ask the person next to you.
Yeah.
Put your phone down.
The fall of the 22-ounce bombers, which we remember that. We remember the days of the bomber walls, right? So I had so many different bombers from back in the day. Rogue was like the king of the bomber wall back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, which is funny because now we have the stovepipes. So we went from the 22, essentially now we're back up to the 19.2. So it's like we kidded ourselves for a while and we said, 16 isn't enough anymore. Let's move it up some, but let's not go 22.
Yeah.
Let's just go like 3.2 more ounces. We don't go full 6.
I mean, I used to love bombers. I mean, you get almost 2, 12 ounce, because, a lot of craft back then wasn't in the 16-ounce cans yet. So when bombers were big, the main thing was a 12-ounce bottle. So here you're getting almost 2, you're spending a couple bucks more, but if you get something special, like remember like the Stone and Joy Buy, they first came out in the 22-ounce bomber. Those were like a special treat.
Yeah. All right, Noah, great to have you in as well. Enjoy your night, my friend. Great having you here as well. Have a good one. Talk to you soon.
All right, man.
But the funny thing about the 22-ounce bomber is they phase them back down, but we still get like the 25.6 on sizes on stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like we still get those ones in. We get like the Magnum or whatever, but it's kind of like the 22 was just the one that was kind of shifted out from everything. But the 19.2 makes such an easy placement for like when you're putting stuff in the fridge or in the cooler or whatever like that. The 19.2 seems to be the sweet spot.
And obviously there's an adjustment with the height, but I think the width of the cans are the same. So it's not like you need a lot of extra equipment and your canning lines for that outside of the height.
Right. The width and everything's fine. It's just the height. Yeah. So you can stack them in a lot easier or stack them on top versus the bottles. You couldn't do that. So the advent of Mexican beer, which we do see a lot more Mexican in the market versus to when it was 20 years ago, where it wasn't as huge a segment. I mean, your Corona, your Pacifico, but now you're seeing a lot more different things taking place, depending where you're at too. Like Modelo becoming one of the top beers in the country, right?
Yeah.
So, social media and the death of print, which is interesting. How you have a lot of stuff. I mean, we do social media with the YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and all that kind of stuff. But it really did the death of print, where people were picking up the brewing magazines that are turning to social media now.
Yeah.
Instead of getting that. Although I still do get some brewing magazines that still come in, but you're kind of just used to pulling it up on your PC or your tablet or your phone and kind of just looking at stuff through there, which is interesting. The rated sites, which 20 years ago, where we're at now, again, Untapped, Beer Advocate, which was, talking about purchases, Beer Advocate was bought by Untapped. You used to have Rate Beers, that was bought by AB and Bev, right? So you have the different sites out there. You have some other ones that are kind of smaller, more independent maybe, but that's kind of something that's changed. Glassware has been a big change over the last 20 years, as far as the different style of glassware we see now for certain type of beers and how to serve it and things like that. Getting away from everything having to go in a shaker pint, so to speak. So with shaker pint, I feel like it was a mistake in the first place, but it was just easy to have as a serving tool. You could easily stack them.
You can put your logo on it.
You can stack them and all that kind of stuff. So that's why a lot of places went that way. But really, you're looking at the other side of what you would use with the tin to make a margarita or something, right?
Yeah.
So it was a shaker glass, We had the advent now with all the buyouts that take place. Makes mention here AB and Bev with Goose Island and Golden Road and Ballast Point that we talked about earlier and stuff. So
Yeah, I agree. The comment here was Golden Road was created just to be sold.
you think so?
Oh, absolutely. I think so. I think that was just made to be sold, and it worked. God bless them. They got their bag, but I mean, the few beers I had from them, I never thought they were that good. But I remember, like, I forget the woman's name who was like a partner, had a reality show on and stuff. And like, the beers I had were just mediocre at best. And it always struck me as another style beer over substance beer.
Okay. I know they had one for them before, like their mango something. I thought that was enjoyable.
Mango cards or whatever.
Yeah, mango card. I'm not usually a fruit wheat type person, but I thought that one was decent enough. But yeah, I mean, if that was their game plan, it's kind of like Platform out of Ohio. Their main goal was to basically get bought out at some point, and they did. AB and Bev ended up buying them out, and then they were happy they were going, and then the beer was going because AB and Bev just kind of phased them out, and then they didn't have them anymore. But they had some great beers before they did that, so it was kind of sad.
I'm never going to knock anyone for getting that bag. So hey, God bless you. You did better than me trying to get people to give me a $5 donation on Linked or Patreon. So I'm not bad mouthing you for getting paid.
No, not at all. It's like craft ubiquity. Minimizing the impact craft beer had on the large brewing industry. I mean, the culture shift that kind of took place there with craft in itself. I mean, 20 years ago, back in the mid-90s to the beginning of 2000, it was like more micro, right? It was micro brewing versus you didn't really have craft out there. Then it became craft beer. And then it became who defines what craft beer is. And then it was the Brew Association. And then they started changing some stuff there. They're kind of like, and a lot of people were really like, your average drinker really didn't know. They just want to have a good beer. So, tap rooms, where before it used to be in brew pubs or a bar or at home. But now the models have set up where you can actually go to tap rooms for breweries and stuff. So that's been kind of a big change there, too. The bottles to the cans. Really, back in the day, it was a lot of stuff was more bottled.
Oh, it was all bottles. I mean, outside of like Oscar Blues and maybe a few others, like cans was like, what is this?
Yeah, I think Dale's was the first canned one, right? Like when Oscar Blues, when they did Dale's, it was like one of the first ones to really change things up.
Yeah.
But the cans were considered cheap and disposable, not much classier than plastic, but now cans are like, cans, you don't have to worry about the sunlight getting in. They get colder quicker than what bottles do, so it kind of works out. But you
don't have to worry about a skunky Heineken if you're drinking it out of the can.
Yeah. And then it talks about like the diversity where it was back then to where it was now. Was it Terry Ferendorf who just got inducted today into Hall of Fame from when she started the Pink Booth Society, which I never really got that part of the whole beer thing anyway, with the whole women not being in brewing, since women pretty much were your first brewmasters from all historical aspects. Like, how did that end up happening, right? Well, we know how it ended up happening, but still, it's kind of like that they had to fight their way to get back in was kind of crazy. But just some of the diversification, he had like Michael Jackson Foundation that helped a lot of like the black brewers get in with him, doing the National Black Brewers Association, helping to do his foundation and stuff, and just the different look of what it is now versus what it was 20 years ago. That makes mention of COVID with the shakeup of that. And how that kind of affected the impact. I don't know. I don't know. You didn't have people going out really for like 2 or 3 years maybe, but people were buying stuff and having it at home. But it changed the attitude, I think, afterwards. Maybe people got comfortable maybe being at home, I guess.
And got to remember, I'm sure it was the same by you, like in 2020, early part of 2021, when you'd go to, you couldn't sit at the bar, but you could go in there and you would order online and go pick up, and
They just bring it
knock
to
on
their
the
car.
door and tell them, and they would bring out, like I remember, which is now Hop Butcher, used to be Half Baker in that location. Like I would order like beer and like they'd open up the door and they would crack it like it was a speakeasy. Like, what's your name? Okay. And then they would put like the 4-pack of Daisy Cutter on like a table.
Yeah. It's like, what's the password?
Yeah. Can I get a growler, please? Yeah.
But yeah, it does make sense. I mean, it reshaped cities and gutted downtown. And so, people weren't going out there anymore. And that caused a big shakeup as well. Citra and hop breeding. They talked about that basically started to take over, especially with the IPAs and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of that came into play. A lot more for what was being used. And then IPAs, which, look, it's the chicken and the egg. Do people want IPAs or just people just kind of used to asking for IPAs? It's kind of like brewers, I think, sometimes are afraid to get outside the IPA area because people won't know what it is and they may not buy it. But if you're constantly giving people that same beer, they're going to be always asking for that same type of beer. So it's kind of like, do people want IPAs or people just want IPAs because that's just what they know to ask for as IPAs? Which is why I enjoy going to other breweries where they have other stuff outside of IPAs because it helps to expand into other areas. And that's why you see some breweries that are doing like more of a European type model where you may not have like the American IPA. You might have like an English IPA or something, but it's going to be different than what you're accustomed to from the American side. But yeah, and they should know, like the brewed IPA, not all IPAs are perfect, just saying. Cold IPAs, I still say are the old IPLs, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, kind of an interesting piece, just kind of on the changes that have taken place there. Then the last piece, we talked about earlier there in Chicago, which is pretty cool. Although I still have to try some of their stuff, but they've getting noted from so many people that really enjoy
I sent you
beer.
that collab with Revolution, or was that Moores that did it with Revolution?
It was Moores that did that one. That was Moores, yeah.
All right, well, I'll send you some Funky Town.
But yeah, Funky Town out of Chicago, and congrats to them. But they just, I didn't even know, like from the city got a grant. To help them do stuff, but $3.7 million for the city of Chicago. The money will be used to create a new brewery and tap room on the near west side. So, you started off the show, we had the closings, but now we have this, we also have some openings. That's the thing I kind of see in a lot of spots, like where things are closing, I see other spots opening too.
Yeah. Like, because they used to brew their stuff, or they still do for now, over at this place called Pilot Project, which is like an incubator for different breweries. So like 5 breweries or whatever, they make their beers at Pilot Project, and then they distribute, or you could go to Pilot Project and have them. So this is really cool that they're going to be able to open up their own location. Super cool. I like their beers. I think they're really good. So I'll definitely have to get some out to you. I'll put together a pack this week and I'll get some stuff out to you. But yeah, I think you're going to like their beers. They're really good.
Yeah, we need to get them on. Or I know you need to. If you haven't had them on, definitely you need to get them on there with you being in Chicago. But definitely need to reach out and get them on.
No, I haven't. I've spoken to them, and then you kept getting cut out of mine. But I've spoken to them a couple times, and it was like right before they had they won that contest with Sam Adams and Brewing the American Dream, and then they blew up. So I'm a little guy, so they were talking on TV news shows. You ain't talking to no little guys, so I'm going to try to reach out to them again and see if we can get them on.
Don't undercut yourself, Dave. You were the man in Chicago on beer. I'm sure you can get them on.
I'm not CBS News.
Yeah, I forgot they actually did win the Sam Adams. I think. Yeah. Liquid Intrusion, who I know, I think they were second to them. So they had that going that way. Now they're getting stuff from Chicago. So congrats to them on bringing their flavor to the beer scene as well. But again, as people coming out there, I was like looking at some stuff online that's past couple weeks, and people are thinking, gloom and doom type thing. Yeah, you're going to have the business cycle take place, and some business may shut down. But at the same point, I'm seeing businesses open up and getting opportunity. So it's just all part of the business cycle. But yeah, but that was a catch up on the beer news over the last few weeks there. So good stuff happening. Anything upcoming? We talked earlier about upcoming on your thing, but anything else you wanted to get out there for the show here?
No, I'm going to be doing, if you follow me over on the video channels like YouTube and Instagram, I'm teaming up with this company called Fresh Victor. They sent me over a lot. They make cocktail mixers like Margarita Mixer, which is like the #1 rated one in Food and Wine magazine. So I'm going to be doing some cocktails with different mixers. I actually have right in front of me, and this is really weird. This company reached out to me. It's called, I don't know if you could see this here, Soluble Oak. And it's the extract of oak barrels. So I'm going to be doing, that's why I was looking for Guinness the other day, because I'm going to be doing like a side-by-side with Guinness and putting some oak in it and seeing how that tastes. So that'll be coming up in the next couple of weeks.
It is so interesting you said that there, by the way, my friend, because this wasn't put together, but they reached out to me as well from Soluble Oak and sent this
What'd you
out.
get there?
Yeah, Soluble
Look at that.
Oak.
You got that big thing? I got this little bottle?
Well, it's not always about the size. It's not always about the size.
Oh, that ain't right. Look at this. Hold that shit up again. Oh, that's some bullshit.
So I'm actually talking about getting their owner on here as well. But
yeah, I was reaching out to him too. Like, dude, you're not getting the full interview, dude. You're getting like a half interview. You give me half a bottle, you get half an interview.
You're not open until ready to use, shake before open. Now, this is actually enough to make like a 5-gallon, I think. But I'm wondering if you can add like a drop or two into an actual beer that's already complete, and if it would add an oak feel, or if it has to be brewed through.
That's what this one is. So I did try it. I didn't do it on video, but I wanted to try it, and it was solid. So it definitely enhanced the flavor of a Guinness. But
so you poured it into, you like did a drop into the Guinness.
So I opened this up. I did like 2 drops because I didn't want to overload it. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was good. So I might have to add like maybe a 3rd drop. But I thought it was good. So I'm going to do a video. Maybe not as good of a video since I didn't get as good of a package. But I'll do a video on this with Guinness Stout.
Is yours the American Oak? Is yours the American Oak Dark?
No, I got the French.
Okay, I get the American Oak Dark on this one.
Yeah, because this is, the owner said this was formulated the French to use for Guinness Draft. So he's like, if you could get the Guinness Draft, that's why I grabbed it.
Okay. Yeah, it says full complexity in 48 hours. So if you were actually putting it in your bright tank, you could do it that way. But you can actually, but you've already done it where you can put a drop or two in a Guinness and it does add an oakiness to it. I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've reached out to him about trying to get set up because he does want to come on to do a thing, but we haven't connected him to the date yet to kind of get set up. But,
yeah, because I emailed him. I'm like, and I was asking him something. I'm like, do I have to refrigerate this? Anything like that? And I didn't hear back. So I don't know. Maybe ready to talk to you.
On the package, it says to store at 60 to 75 degrees.
Okay.
Expel air after use. And like on mine, it says used by 7/19/27. So a good amount of time out there. Approximate dose for mouthfeel is 0.1 to 0.5%. I wouldn't know how to rate that out there. Test doses with 2 ounce of your product. Shake before opening. Do not open until ready for use. So, yeah. And he also got the video on the back on mine. I don't know if it has on your bottle. Has a QR code that you can
actually. My bottle's too small, Rod. I don't have room for a fucking QR code on mine. Maybe you didn't see the size of the bottle, Rod.
I can shoot you the video. Well, you can put a little QR code on there.
I've seen the video.
Yeah, it's a dosing video. So yeah, I gotta take a look at it. I'm glad you mentioned that because I had that sitting here and I haven't done anything with it yet. So shout out to Soluble Oak for sending this along. We'll go ahead and get that applied too. But yeah, see here. Let's see. And then outside of that, it's really not. What do you say?
Did we get that question yet? She wanted to ask us a question.
No, Shannon never came back with the question. I think it
Oh.
was Shannon. Yeah, just checking. No. So we'll see if she comes back with it. We'll see from there. But yeah, outside of that, I need to set up some more interviews with a few of the folks to get them on. But yeah, that's definitely one, Soluble Oak, and then a couple of the breweries and stuff too. And there's some more stuff here that we have happening. I got some more Firestone Walker beers to be able to share some stuff on that. Going to be having some stuff here from Ska that'll be coming out for some reviews as well. So Ska Brewing, thanks again for reaching out.
Well, yeah.
And then I want to get more of the malt and more of the hop guys on as well, so we get them on talking about some stuff too. So
yeah, I've got a hop. I'm sorry, I have a malt company coming on later this week. So talk about some craft malt. They're based out of California, so that'll be cool to talk to them.
Yeah, definitely. So lots of good things on the way.
Yeah.
So make sure people stay tuned for that as we.
Yeah, not all beer news is doom and gloom.
No, it is not. It is not. No. Probably do some stuff from Bachfest next week if I get down there, try to get some video and share that. And I got the I mentioned earlier the urban artifact stuff I did today. I'll be sharing that stuff. A lot of good stuff happening. But that being said, we're going to get wrapped up here for the evening. And thanks for everyone that tuned in. Another great time as always.
Have yourself a good birthday next weekend.
Oh, well, thanks. Yeah, I mean,
your birthday, you enjoy.
I say that, but it's still like other shit you still got to do before you head into it. Like my wife's asking, like, "What do you want for your?" I'm like, you get to a point you're like, I don't really need anything. I don't really want anything. I just kind of, if anything, just chill and watch the game and peace and quiet or whatever, and just pretty easy at this point. Like, what do you keep getting stuff that it's like at a certain point, like. If I can get anything, it'd probably be more time.
Yeah.
Just more time. Doing stuff I really want to do because that's the thing I lose the most, it seems. So, yeah. But I do appreciate it. And happy birthday to your mom. And hopefully your mom is going to have a great birthday as well. I don't know if you're doing anything with her on that day, but hopefully she gets to enjoy it. And if you are, hopefully nice dinner, a nice Italian dinner or something or whatever it may be. Is she in Chicago with you or is she?
She's in a suburb called Elmwood Park, so she's not that far, like maybe a 15, 20-minute drive.
Okay, excellent. So, so you'll be over there doing some stuff, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
And treat mom well, and hopefully Ruby doing all right, because I know last time we spoke, Ruby had little stuff happening too.
No, she fell and banged up her ankle, but no, she's good to go.
Excellent. Everybody's all good there, and Moira Rose all right? She all right too?
She had 30 teeth pulled 2 weeks ago.
Moira Rose had 30 teeth?
Dogs have 42 teeth. She had 40. They had to pull 30 teeth out of her mouth.
I did not realize dogs had that much.
Her breed, she's a rat terrier. That breed, like the vet's like, they're going to have to come out. And it's not cheap. Because it's not like you could just sit there with the dog with their mouth open. They got to put them out. So that's not cheap. So Moira got 30 teeth knocked out of her mouth.
Is she able to actually?
She's fine now.
But you said like that's like chewing food and all that kind of stuff. Like,
yeah, I mean fangs are still there. She got a couple in the back, but a couple days she was out because they drugged her up.
Yeah.
So like that day we brought her home, she was just like, but no, she's good. She's perfect. I wish they put the teeth back in because now she's more of a pain in the ass. Let me go in there and put some of those teeth back in.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Big Daddy. Much appreciated, my friend. Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be 57. Oh, that's the other thing too. Will I have something next week or? I might, because I believe next week, or the weekend after the weekend, that following week before we do the next show, will be the 11-year anniversary of the channel.
Oh, nice.
So I may have an 11-year anniversary show at some point between.
All right.
We have another Midwest Beer News, so stay tuned for that. But maybe have you or a few people on. And
yeah, I'm home every night now for a couple weeks, so
yeah,
I can pop on whenever.
So stay tuned, folks, for that kind of stuff there too. And yeah, we're going to get wrapped up. Otherwise, we'll be here sitting here rambling, and we like the song "Rambling Man." So yeah, thanks for everybody that tuned in, and we look to catch up with you guys on the next one.
All right, cheers everyone.
Cheers.
Thank you for tuning in. It's been a ride. Rod J and Daisy, we here with pride. Midwest Beer Talk as we glide. Catch us again. Don't let this vibe slide. Like and subscribe. It's the key. Rod J BeerVentures. Join our spree. Beer in front. We got the flow. Catch us live. The good times grow.
So proceed to the blessing.